Welcome to the latest edition of the LL Basketball Roundtable, brought to you by Student Transportation of America. District playoffs are over, state playoffs are about to begin, so you can imagine what our focus is going to be today. My name is Mike Gross, and I'm hosting Jason Guarente, who covers boys basketball. Jeffrey Reinhardt, who covers girls basketball, are alongside, and we're going to get into first 3 district champions on the boys' side. Jason, take it away.
There was a point at halfway through the week where all 3 champs were Lancaster Lebanon League or Lancaster County teams.
How about that?
It was a good run. All 3 teams that made the finals won. I think Columbia was the biggest surprise. Number 2 seed playing Trinity, which is a Mid-Penn Power, a Mid-Penn Division champion this year. And Columbia deserved that win. I mean, they were tougher, they played harder. And there was a moment early in that game where you weren't sure if Columbia could hang with Trinity, and then you watched the matchup and they were too fast and they were harassing them and they were getting them out of sorts. And what it came down to is Columbia was better 1 through 8 than Trinity was. Trinity had Owen Schlager, who was the best player on the floor. He scored 35 points. But the rest of the team scored 26, and they took the big men out of the game because they played too fast and the pace was too quick. That was just an incredible win for the LL. I think it changes how you view this season for the LL because now you have 2 district champs.
That's true. Yeah.
And for Columbia, you have 2 out of 3 years they've won district titles. And for a public school at the smaller classification level, because you have attrition, like kids graduate, it's not like a private school where you're just reloading with, a non-boundary group of players. So for them to win 2 out of 3 is an incredible achievement.
They played a solid schedule, and they're so used to playing against people that outsize them.
Yeah.
They're so used to that, pretty impressive.
Mennonite too. Got a chance to watch that game.
Yeah.
They were good.
2 other champions. Mennonite tends to get overlooked. We kind of take them for granted now because they won 4 in a row, but they lost.
Part of it is AA.
Part of it is AA, but they won states last year, and that was a real deal.
That's a big deal.
They lost their 3 best players from that team. Their starting center was Caleb Binkley. He barely played. One of their starting guards was Jordan Lilly. He didn't play the second half of the year. Their number 3 scorer, Miles Halverson, missed 11 games, and they were still there at the end.
Amazing.
And they found a way. Their leading scorer is Cody Fisher, who scored 11 points as a freshman. Not 11 points per game, 11 points.
Total.
And he became a 16-point per game scorer.
Wow.
And that transformed their roster. Chase Hurst is a point guard. He could win 4 of these things by the time he's done. He's won 2 as a starter. And they had a new coach, Jeff Hartenstein for Seth Buckwalter. So all that turnover, and they still won it. That's an incredible achievement. And the 3rd champion, Linville Hill Christian, which plays in Paradise, the school is located in Gap, has become the standard in single A with Coach Mike Schatzman, who coached at Pequay Valley forever. A lot of losing records at Pequay Valley. A lot of years he didn't have much talent. He's at the end of his coaching career. He goes to Linville Hill and he builds a powerhouse with Steven Smucker, a nearly 1,000-point scorer, and an all-state nominee. We were talking about him before the show. One of the best players at that classification in the state.
There you go.
Yep.
An amazing district final for our league on the girls' side. Right?
Girls' side, 2 champs local. Lancaster Catholic, we'll start with them. They defend their crown in 3A. Crusaders really took care of Columbia, and that's been a nice rivalry here the last couple of years, non-league, and they've met in playoffs a couple of times. Catholic just sort of has Columbia's number right now. Catholic can really defend, no secret there. They got it, and they took care of the Draghi twins, held them down a little bit. Catholic made shots at the Giants Center, which is huge with the depth perception there. Autumn Lipson hit 5 threes, scored a season-high 17 points. She was great. Everything went Catholic's way. So that's 21 district titles now for Catholic, number 1 all-time. They passed the Beavers. God love them. And so Catholic moving on to states. Linville Hill girls, they sweep. I don't know what's in the water in Paradise right now, but both of their teams are really good. That was probably the best game I think I saw. They took care of Mount Calvary Christian, a rival from CCAC. Great game. Mount Calvary played great, led at the half, slowed down Linville, kind of mucked it up a little bit, played good half-court defense. 35-32 was the final. Desiree Smucker hit some gigantic shots for Linville Hill down the stretch. big jumper put them ahead. She had a 3 to stretch the lead. Somebody had an and one in there. I think it was Rischel, but Linville Hill played great down the stretch, and they won. So they dethroned Mount Calvary, which had won the last 2, including a win over Linville last year. So Linville Hill girls just 1 loss, and here they are.
And that was their first district title. They've been knocking on that door for a while.
Yeah, and the kids told me, they're like, we've watched the boys win 3 in a row, and it's our turn. You know, we wanted to celebrate and get one of these gold medals. So that was a lot of fun. Tip of the cap to Linville Hill right now. They're amazing.
Yep.
So it was a good district tournament for the local kids, and it all leads to the state tournament. Really, that's what the district playoffs are for, to get to state. So we're going to run through states. We have a lot of teams that are still dancing, and we're going to just kind of go through that a little bit, and maybe I'll give you a little sense of the overall favorites in that. Let's start with 6A.
6A, just 1 LL qualifier, Cedar Crest LL champs. They were 6th in District 3. When you finish in that 5, 6, 7, 8 in District 3, you usually get a powerhouse in the first round of states. And
I'll tell you what, though, I'd like Central York's bracket, which they almost beat them for 5th and 6th. But that's not a bad bracket that they're in. But anyway, that's
so Cedar Crest going to Lower Merion, District 1 champ. Only 1 loss. They go to Kobe Bryant Gym. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's an emotional place to go now after his passing, and there's just reminders of him everywhere. So it's kind of a special gym.
That's Saturday at 1 o'clock down there on the sort of on the main line.
The Lower Merion
Aces.
One of the cool nicknames in the state.
Okay,
6A girls, 2 in Lebanon. Cedars get a home game Friday night. Against Peters Township out of Whippeal, a 25-win team. And they got to make the trip from Pittsburgh to Lebanon and enjoy that.
Where did they finish in their district?
3rd.
Yeah. Both teams are
6A in Whippeal was really good this year, really good. Norwin and North Allegheny were there, and they're down in that bracket too. Lebanon's in the west bracket. Up top, Manheim Township kind of caps the great season for them with a new coach. And their reward for making states is 1-1 Perkiomen Valley, one loss Perk Valley, District 1 champs. They're loaded, and they got to go play in their gym. So we'll see what happens with Lebanon and Manheim Township.
5A, of course we have lots of 5A.
Only 2. Warwick, LL runner-up, finished 6th in District 3. Gas up the bus. They're heading to District 7 to play Franklin Regional. District 7 runner-up. Like I said, you get those powerhouses when you're in that bottom half of the qualifiers. Franklin Regional has 3 losses. Manheim Central also got in. They're the 8th team out of District 3. They get a District 1 champ. They'll have to go to Unionville to play in the first round. So both Warwick and Manheim Central have their work cut out for them in the openers.
To say the least. 5A, Rhines?
5A girls, 1 team. Manheim Central Barons are in 3rd year in a row. They start 3 freshmen and a junior. They'll be back. They go to Hollidaysburg on Saturday to play Hollidaysburg. They're the District 6 champ. So tricky first rounder for the Barons, but they're in.
Nothing in 4A.
Oh, we have Octorara.
Octorara. I always forget Octorara. I apologize. Octorara.
Come on.
Octorara played Littlestown in the 5-6 game, and the incentive in that game was the winner didn't get Newman Goretti.
Yeah.
And
nice.
Octorara won, so they didn't get Newman Goretti. They get Danville, which is the District 4 champion, which is no picnic, but it's not Newman Goretti. So, I mean, they think they have a shot at that game. It's a long trip, but you know, they saved their season. They had a bunch of losses in a row, and they were on the brink of elimination, and they won back-to-back games to get the 5th seed out of District 3.
Nice. Newman and Goretti and Lincoln Park, the charter school from Mount Pittsburgh, played an epic state final last year. Lincoln Park winning. They played in the regular season this year, and Newman Goretti thumped them pretty good. Yeah. They would not meet till the final.
Oh, wow. That was a great game last year. That and the Reading final were just phenomenal. Yeah,
but Reading is not. Roman Catholic will be back, but again, they will be missing some starters because of the transfer rule situation. So we'll see how that plays out. 4A, Ryan.
4A girls, 1 team in Northern Lebanon, the Vikes. They go to Allentown on Saturday afternoon to play ACC, long-time postseason power, Allentown Central Catholic. Tricky game for the Vikes, but they're in.
The Vikes are young, and their time is coming. They're very young.
There might be a year ahead of schedule. 4 sophomores and a junior.
That's a good way to say it.
But they get some extra games here this season. Good on them.
And of course in 3A, Jason, we've got that Crimson Tide.
Columbia, you win the district, you get the better early draw.
Oh, yeah.
So they get District 12-6, which is Pickett Mastery, which has 15 losses.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Columbia's not allowed to play on their home court, I guess, in the first round.
Probably
of
too small. I
states.
don't
Well,
know.
the girls played there last year, so I don't know
Yeah.
when that came to be. To me, that's nonsense. You earn a home game, you get a home game. We
you
don't
earn it, you should
arbitrarily
have it.
pick where you get to play.
That
Nonsense.
is nonsense.
And
I
Linville
agree.
Hill's another example. They're not allowed to play on their home court, but Columbia has a decent draw. They could win a couple rounds. They
could.
And they have a lot of seniors, and they're motivated, and they're rolling right now.
That second round game, which I think will be Math, Civics, and Science from Philadelphia, that will be a tough one, but probably not insurmountable for them. They might be. Columbia is the one on the boys' side that I think. Well, Linville too, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah. 3A girls, three teams in. Columbia, we mentioned the Tide. They're getting a neutral gym. They're playing at Penn Manor on Friday night against Loyal Sock from District 4. They're very good, and they're tall. They have size, good size. Good size. And they were upset in the District 4 final, so they're good.
Oh, okay.
And now they're salivating. They'll get the Tide. Tricky game there. Pequay Valley in as the 4th seed. They have to play at Forest Hills. They're good. District 6 champs. They're always good. Lancaster Catholic, here we go. They're at home against Masterman out of Philly Pub. District 12, 4th seed. We'll see how far Catholic can get. They lost in the semifinals last year to Dunmore. Dunmore's also in their side of the bracket. I made some predictions in a post this week. I picked Catholic to win the state championship. I thought they had a
They're certainly the one team that we almost expect to
be
make
there,
a run.
to be there. And I wrote last year they had a 2-year window to win it. They got to the semis last year. I think this is their year. It starts Friday night against Masterman.
They're better now than they were a year.
They are.
They're all seniors now.
Yeah,
And
they're
most of the starters-
experienced. Yeah, they're battle tested, and I don't see why Catholic can't get to the Giant Center. We shall see.
2A, let's talk about the Lancaster Mennonite.
The defending champs,
Yep.
who are nothing like last year's defending champs, they get a home game. I guess their gym's big enough, so we'll let them play at home. They'll play St. John Newman, the District
they're always
4
good.
runner-up.
Which has been really good in recent years, but 14-11 this year, I mean, I think that's a winnable game.
It's a winnable game, and I mean, to me, when they start 3 sophomores and they have a few sophomores off the bench who play a lot, this is gravy now.
Oh,
this
yeah,
is where you
absolutely.
pick up some experience, because big picture, they're going to be there. They're going to be around for
The
a while.
one team in this class is Aliquippa, which will be shooting to get to the state final for the 3rd year in a row. This seems like the best team of the 3. Mennonite beat them, and beat them pretty handily and impressively last year, but they're in the other half of the bracket. They wouldn't play Mennonite, they wouldn't face Mennonite until the final. And the other one in this group is Constitution. We all remember them from the recent past. They seem like they're back up and ready. They're in the same half of the bracket as Mennonite. 2A.
Interesting. 2A girls, get your erasers out. Crazy story here.
I don't have one on me.
Lancaster Country Day girls were the runner-up in the District 3 tournament, which gets them into states as 3-2. Lancaster Country Day school is on spring break this week, and they would not have enough players to field a team on Friday night. So Country Day opted out of states, and instead of giving Muncie, the District 4 champ, a forfeit win, District 3 and PIAA had a little powwow, and they're allowing Lancaster Mennonite, which lost to Lancaster Country Day in the district semifinals, they're giving the Blazers the state game. So
Opted out of states
Opted out of
is
states.
not a phrase that should be in the English language, folks.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
That's a tough one to comment
People are
on.
getting all worked up about this. This
Yeah.
happened 2 years ago.
It's happened
Well,
before.
that doesn't make it okay.
No, but it's not some revolutionary thing. And Country Day's very small.
They are
How deep
tiny.
is their roster? It doesn't take much for
I
them.
was told that they would maybe have 5 kids for Friday.
Yeah.
Maybe have 5
Linville Hill got into this situation in the first year they made states before they were winning districts, and they sent like a JV team to play states because
Oh,
a
wow.
bunch of their
For
kids
the
were-
experience.
and they got clobbered. So is that better? Like, is that what
I
we-
think it is. Yeah.
Do you?
I think it's
know.
better.
So Mennonite's in. So Mennonite lost in the district semis, but they're in. Blazers will play at Muncie on Friday night.
All right, Class A. Of course, we have the fabulous top of the bracket, Linville Hill.
We have 3 teams in 1A. Linville Hill, District 3 champs, play at Lancaster County Christian. Their Linville Hill's gym only seats 350 people or so, and there's no real bleachers
Yeah, it's
there.
sort of like an elementary school gym.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah.
they put chairs out, so I guess
Yeah.
they're not allowed to play there. So they're playing at Lanco Christian against Northumberland Christian. The other teams, this is the bracket where you learn that schools exist, right? Like Lancaster County Christian is in, they play Bucktail. That's new to me.
Bucktail. All right.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Good at basketball, I guess, in Bucktail. Don't ask me where Bucktail
Good
is.
at hunting, I bet.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
at Country Day play Notre Dame, East Stroudsburg.
Nice. Single A girls, 4 teams in. This will be busy. 4 teams in single A. Mention these 2 first. Lancaster County Christian will play Mountain View on Saturday. Mountain View is good. They're a district champ. Tricky road trip for Lancaster County Christian. Veritas Academy, the 3rd seed from District 3. They play Philmont Christian, Philly team. That game's at Ben Salem on Saturday afternoon. Doubleheader. They're not going to let Linville or Calvary play home games. Doubleheader at Warwick on Saturday afternoon. I'm going to go to this. This will be fun. Mount Calvary, district runner-up, will play Sankofa Freedom, District 12. And Linville Hill will play Southern Fulton out of District 5. That's a doubleheader at Warwick starting at 4 o'clock on Saturday. I'm going to drop in for those 2 games. I'm curious to see how far Linville can go here because in their pod, if they win in advance, there's a good chance they'll get Lords Regional in the 2nd round. And they were
Fresh out of Shamokin.
They were in the finals last year, so tricky bracket for Linville Hill, but we'll see if they can keep going.
We know it's a lot to process, folks, but there it is. It's the first round of the state playoffs. A lot of this will be weeded out and make more sense the next time we speak, a week from now. That's it. This has been the LL Basketball Roundtable, brought to you by Student Transportation of America. For Jason, for Jeff, for Mike. We'll see you later.